Good evening. It is now my desire to make a commentary on the one aspect of the work of Marcel Proust. Marcel Proust began his magnum opus, that a very long book, which is titled À la recherche de temps perdu, in search of lost time. He began this book in 1909 in Paris and finished the book 13 years later, just before his demise in 1922. The book is 7,000 pages long, not to be read by the faint-hearted. It comes in 7 volumes. Indeed, one must devote a large chunk of one's life to read and study this great work of European and world literature. I shall not begin today to talk about the usual aspect of this book, which is commented upon by academics and the professors and the critics, which is the aspect of the book is an attempt to retrieve or refine or rediscover or recreate lost time. I hear many people mention the Madeleine episode at the beginning of this book, which is quite tedious in many ways to me. I've heard this Madeleine episode quoted by people who read no more of Proust than they have of the Yiddish Kabbalah. But they seem to feel that the mentioning of the Madeleine somehow creates the idea that they are familiar and intimate with the complete 7,000-page work, the novel itself. I wish to talk about some other aspect of the Proustian universe, which is for me the most significant, the most interesting, the most original, and the most unique aspect of Marcel Proust's approach to writing fiction. This idea is the transformation of practically all the characters in the novel from the beginning to the end. There are major transformations, not only in the major characters with Swann and with Odette Crécy and so on, but with the minor characters also. And this is how we actually experience reality, life, if I can say that. Such a preposterous thing to say, really. But take, for example, Professor Cottard. When we meet him at the beginning of Swann in Love, we meet him during Madame Védéran's soiree, her salon. We meet this bungling idiot of a doctor who talks in cliches, he uses puns, he's very unsure of himself, he's with his wife, who's rather a haggard woman, very quiet woman, and they're really out of their depth in this literary salon, even faux salon in certain respects. But later on in the novel, in a further volume, we encounter Professor Cottard, and we realize that within his world, within the medical world in which he circulates in the universities and his practice as a doctor, he has an extraordinary reputation as a diagnostician. He is the diagnosticien absolute in Paris at this period. He is a unfailing knowledge and instinct. He can diagnose even the most obscure diseases which lie beyond the capacity of some of the other more renowned doctors. And suddenly we realize that this bumbling idiot at the salon is actually a wonderful swan, a wonderful, beautiful swan within his own field. And we come across a very touching scene indeed. For me, perhaps the most touching scene in the whole book, where the narrator's grandmother has a stroke while out scrambling in the Bois de Boulogne. And when she's taking back to her apartment, the physician who's called to attend to her, to this much-loved grandmother, is Professor Cottard. And he is trusted by everybody to do a fantastic diagnosis. So Proust is basically telling us that somebody can be an idiot in one context and be a genius in another context. And I take this to be true about life. How many idiots have I met who years later, years down the road, I discovered that they were fantastic at something that I had no idea about. Indeed, many an idiot I have met has gone on to do some fantastic work and achieve great acclaim in their own field. And we see a similar transformation in Odette Crécy, in Swann himself, this extraordinary transformation in the Baron de Charlus, where he goes from being a mean-spirited predator, a seeker of thrills and illicit pleasures that were in those days, to becoming a tragic and moving victim of another's terrible scheme to out him. And this extraordinary transformation, again, from somebody who we look down on, we feel superior to him the first time we meet him, but in fact he has this tragic capacity, like we all have, hidden deep inside of him, which Marcel Proust manages to expose to us at the end of the book. So I would say to my dear and faithful followers on YouTube to be conscientious, to be conscient of this idea when you meet somebody you don't like. Just remember, they may be just Professor Cotard, the fish out of water, the ugly duckling, and every other cliche that you can imagine to apply to this situation. But in life, life is actually full of many cliches, and the wise people, they accept the cliches as part of the fabric of our tradition, as part of the fabric of human behavior and the human condition. Thank you very much. If you have any comments on my comments, you may leave your commentary just below in the commentary section. I look forward to reading your instructive and insightful comments. Thank you very much.